Hey everybody, hope you're doing great today. This is Paul from This Way to the Aquarium, and in this video I'm going to give you an early tour of my fish room that I'm working on over here. I'm close to being done on this one side. So with these tanks already installed, there's no water in it yet. There's no equipment. I've got some of the equipment on order. Some of the equipment is coming in. So I'm going to start putting that together. I've got plans for my existing 55-gallon tank upstairs. That's kind of a display tank. I'm going to move those fish down here, kind of split them off into two different tanks. That's a Tanganyikan tank. You can take a look at my Tanganyikan fish tank tour that I did earlier. But just for a couple of reasons, I'm going to transfer them, fill these other tanks up here as well too with different kinds of fish. And I'll show you those videos as I do those in the future. So let's take a look at the fish tanks over here. Take a look at my stand over here. It's still a work in progress. So I hope to have a couple of tanks up and running pretty soon over here. Like I mentioned, I want to move those fish from upstairs down to these tanks and slowly start filling up the other tanks with fish as well. So let's take a look at these tanks right now. So here's the early look. And the background over here, I've got a couple of sound curtains, and that's just to help with the sound over here. These are concrete walls. You can see where the wall is still exposed over here on this side. So it'll help dampen the sound echo in here, especially when it comes to recording video. And when all these tanks are powered up, when the air is running, it will help make it less noisy. I did also add insulation to the back wall over there. You can see a layer of insulation. And that's at the same time too, these walls can get pretty cold in the wintertime here. That insulation will help keep this room a little warmer, help keep the fish tanks warmer as well too, and use less energy as a result. So the wood that I'm using here, these are 2 by 6 by 10 feet length wood pieces. So there's 4 in all total. 2 on the bottom and then 2 above here. So on the bottom there, as you can see, I've got 2 40-gallon breeders. And then for the cinder blocks I'm using for the lower tier, there's just 1 at 3 different points. And I've got here 4 cinder blocks to hold up the upper level. And I just needed enough room to be able to work in these 40 gallons as well too. So that's why I used 1 more block up there. I could have easily gotten by with just 3 blocks over here, but I don't think I would have had enough room to work in these tanks. And I don't think it's going to impact too much over there. Height-wise, in terms of the 75-gallon, I did end up purchasing a step stool just so that it's easier to get in there and maintain the tank. Don't mind the partially dusty tank in there. I've only partially cleaned this tank out. I do need to finish cleaning up that tank in there, and that's something I plan on doing here soon. So as I mentioned, I've got 2 40-gallon breeders here at the bottom. I've got a 20-gallon long here, another 40-gallon breeder here, and that 75-gallon tank over there. These 2 tanks here, this 20-gallon here and this 40-gallon here, I plan on moving the inhabitants from my Tanganyikan tank upstairs into these 2 tanks. I just want to break them off. Got some Julitochromis. They're actually breeding, but their fry get picked off by the lulupis. So in the bottom tank here, I'm going to put all the lulupis, and then I've got a couple Cyprichromis in there. And then I might add some more fish to that, more Tanganyikan fish in the future. But that this way, this 20-gallon tank over here houses the Julitochromis, and hopefully they can start having some successful spawn that survive. Got some plans for these other 40-gallon here, these other 2 40-gallons here, and then the 75-gallon as well too. I have some plans, but as we know, plans have a tendency to change. So we'll see as we work on these tanks over here and then start working on this tank. We'll see who the ultimate occupants are for those tanks. So with this fish room, I'm running air. I'm going to have a central air pump here. You can see the piping that I ran up there. There will be lights for each of these tanks, overhead lights. I'm looking at getting some sort of other lighting because I do use the pothos plant in my tank upstairs. It helps soak up a lot of nitrates. I've got a video on that, so feel free to check that out. But with the pothos plants, depending on the inhabitants, whether they're plant eaters or not, I might use those in these tanks as well too, and I would just need something overhead lighting, something a little full spectrum for the plants. These LED lights up here I don't believe are full spectrum. They might help with growing the pothos. I'm not sure though, but I'll try out. I might hang something on the back. Here I've got some areas where I can mount something on the back here and keep it up above and get some plant light just for the pothos plant. This being in a basement, there's not much natural light in here from the sun and whatnot. So there's, you can see that's the initial plug strip I'm going to use to power my lights and my aquarium heaters. I did purchase some river rock over here. Got a great deal on it. It's basically about 50 plus pounds of river rock. I got for a little over $18, which is a great deal. So those will be part of the decorations. I'm working on some live plants as well too. I do have the sand that will fill up at least a couple of tanks. I'm probably gonna have to get some more sand for the tanks as well too, because I don't think I have enough for all 5 tanks over here. As I mentioned, I'm planning on adding another fish wall like this over here. I'm not sure quite yet, you know, is it gonna go in this corner over here? I've got some space down here as well too. I can remove this carpet, put something in here. So we'll have to figure that out as I get to that point. I'm going to be plenty busy with this wall right here, getting everything decorated, getting all the inhabitants in, and getting things running smoothly. So that's my progress up to this point. Like I mentioned, I need to install that central air. Got to order a couple more heaters. I've already got a couple of aquarium heaters here ready to go for these tanks that are going to house my fish from upstairs. I will be getting some different fish for my tank upstairs. I'm not going to take that down. I enjoy that tank as well too. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Some of these tanks, especially like the 75-gallon, I want to get maybe some larger fish or maybe a bunch of schooling fish. I'm not sure quite yet. I'm still thinking about that. If you have any suggestions, you have any ideas, what would be great fish to put in the 75-gallon tank, let me know. I'd appreciate your thoughts below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.